Hello, and welcome to Freedom with Marketing. Imagine if you could wake up one morning and you look at your calendar and it's filled with book calls with potential prospects. Or imagine waking up one morning and you see the notifications on your phone or in your email and you've made several sales through the night from a book that you're selling or from a training program that you're selling, and you have hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of dollars deposited into your bank account and you didn't have to do anything for it. Well, today I'm going to show you how you can do that using email automations. I'm going to show you how to use email automations. I've got a list of six different types of email sequences that you can automate, and these are basically something that you can write once. You can schedule them in your autoresponder software and they will go out automatically based on when you scheduled them to go out. And if you have high converting emails that hit your KPIs and are making sales or generating book calls or doing whatever it is that they want you to do, I'm going to do this 24/7 around the clock, whether you are working on it or not. So email automations are really something that you can set and forget, but you can realistically create a welcome sequence, do a few tests so you're getting the results that you want. You're generating book calls on autopilot, you're making sales on autopilot, you're achieving your KPIs on autopilot, and this will probably work for a few months, 6 months, maybe even a year or two, and then afterwards you might have to change it, but you just have to look at the return on investment that you're actually going to get from one simple email sequence. Gets automated and goes out 24/7. Okay, so let's start by defining what email automation actually is. So, email automation is the same way that factories started to automate to increase their productivity back in the industrial age. And when we no longer had to rely on human manpower to perform tasks and we could get a machine to do it for us, the productivity of these factories increased by 10x, 100x, and maybe even more. And this increased productivity resulted in an increased amount of wealth for the general population. In the industrial age, that's when the birth of the middle class came. People became more wealthy, their quality of life started to improve, and this is all of a result of the increased productivity. But in addition to that, when you have a surplus of time, energy, resources, you can then use this surplus to innovate. And in the industrial age, these innovations led to things like the invention of, first of all, the steam engine, which revolutionized transport, and then later we led to the creation of cars and planes. And you just look at how all of this quickly evolved into telephones, so rapid communication around the world in a matter of seconds, to computers, to the internet, to everybody has a supercomputer in their pocket 24/7 and access to all of the world's information. Well, one of the reasons for this is because of the increased productivity that happened in the industrial age a few hundred years back. And one of the reasons for this was because of the automation. And this is kind of the same when it comes to emails as well. If you create a email sequence and you automate it, it's going to increase your productivity in your business multiple times over, because you can write an email sequence once and then you can schedule it inside your autoresponder, and so it's always going to go out. And the easiest analogy to understand with this would be your welcome sequence. And so let's say someone buys your front-end product or someone downloads your lead magnet. You want to send a email sequence to them based on the date that they downloaded it. And so if you're driving a lot of traffic to your website, to your book, to your lead magnet, people are going to download it, people are going to buy it at all times of the day. And then you're going to have a pre-written sequence go out based on the time when they bought it. So if somebody bought it on Monday, they're going to get the first email go out on the Monday. If someone buys it on a Thursday, they're going to get the first email go out on a Thursday. And you can really optimize these to get the maximum results for you, so that you're actually making the sales, generating book calls, hitting your KPIs without you having to do much effort on it afterwards. And if you apply the automations in the correct way, you can get a lot of leverage from it, because it really reduces the amount of time that you need to do things. And just as the example back with the industrial age, if it reduces your time, energy, effort, and resources in order to get the results, you have more time, energy, effort, and resources to invest into other areas of business so it grows much, much quicker. And so having email automations done the correct way can really be a sort of foundational part of your business to generate consistent cash flow, so that you can focus on expanding your business, or so you can pretty much just focus your time doing the things that you love. So there are multiple different types of automation that you can have in your email marketing. I have a list of 6 automations that you can do. These vary from 100% automated. You literally write it once and then you can schedule it to go out. I would strongly encourage that you do a few tests on it, so you can optimize it, down to emails that are sort of semi-automated, that you can sort of schedule to do promotions and sales, without requiring too much time, energy, and effort. You kind of write a promotion once, for example, and then you can reuse the same assets in this promotion at sort of various times throughout the year, provided enough time has elapsed with minor edits. So I'll first list out what the different types of automation are, and then we'll do a deep dive into each one, where I'll explain the aspects of it you need to know, how you can get the most out of it, how you can hit the KPIs, and a few little tricks and tips from my experience of applying these with clients over the last several years, so you can optimize your results. So here they are. So automation 1 is your welcome sequence. We've all heard that. We all know what that is. So your welcome sequence can come if someone buys a product or downloads your lead magnet. Number 2 is a follow-up sequence for people that might have booked a call but didn't buy, or people that have scheduled a call but didn't attend the call, or people that clicked on an ad, opted in, and didn't follow your call to action. So this would be a follow-up sequence. So there are differences between a welcome sequence and a follow-up sequence. The next one is a webinar sequence. So a webinar can be anything like you could call your webinar a workshop, a masterclass, a webinar, obviously, a training, whatever it is. This is basically a pre-recorded video where you want people to attend. In your video, you teach them stuff, and then at the end, you sell them stuff. The next one is what I have had a lot of success with over the years, and that is having flash sales or product launches and actually automating these. These are not 100% automated, but they are semi-automated, and it's something you can get a lot of leverage out, especially if you've had success. The next one is when you have a upcoming promotion. You can basically pre-write your promotion today and schedule it for a few months, a few weeks in the future. So you can basically get everything you need for your promotion done today, and then you can have it basically scheduled to go out. So what this would do, the reason for this is because you don't want to fall into the mistake that I've made over and over again, where you have a promotion and everything's basically done at the last minute, because it just causes chaos, and chaos leads to inefficiencies, and inefficiencies lead to fewer sales. So I'd suggest, if you have a promotion, you can basically write your promotion out today and then schedule it for a few weeks in the future. And then when you're actually going through the promotion itself, sure, you might want to tweak a few of the emails, you might want to modify things based on feedback, but you've got 80 to 90% of it already done. And finally, the next type of automation is your abandoned cart sequence. So this might be something like, let's say you're selling a book or training program. Somebody clicks onto your sales page, they click a call to action button, and then they have a opt-in in order to go to the checkout page. And we've all seen this, we've all experienced it. People put their name and email address in first. It goes to a checkout page. That's where they can pay. So the people that hit your checkout page and they don't buy, they would then subsequently receive your abandoned cart sequence, which is designed to get people to buy. And so with all of these types of sequences, you have Some that will go to people who are new to your brand. They don't know who you are. This is the first interaction with you. So this might be a welcome sequence. This might be a follow-up sequence, a webinar sequence if it's on your website designed to get new people to come to your business, and your abandoned cart sequence. So these will likely be to people who aren't that familiar with you and your brand. And what you would do at the end of the automation is you would have a sort of segue email, which would basically explain what happens next. And after that email, you would put them onto your normal email list where they receive your daily emails or the emails that you send on a regular basis. So those are the different types. Let's have a deep dive into each one, and I'll share with you a few of my favorite strategies so you can start to apply them and start seeing bigger, better results than before. So we'll start off with the welcome sequence. So your welcome sequence could be for people that have bought from you or have not bought from you. We can call these buyers, someone that has bought from you in the past, and a non-buyer, someone that has not bought from you in the past. It's well known in marketing that someone that has bought from you before, a buyer, is about 10 to 15 times more likely to become a repeat customer than someone that has not bought from you before. Now, I don't know who said that to start off with, but in my experience, I've seen this with the data. And if you actually think about it logically, it kind of makes sense. Because the first time you buy something, you don't know if it's a scam. You don't know if they're legitimate. You don't know if they're going to deliver on the promises. You don't know if they're fake, if they're a fraud. And so all of these things cause apprehension in order for you to commit to making the sale. But once you've made that first sale, and if you actually deliver value, you actually help them, you actually provide results, and you actually help people get results through sort of strategic ways, then they're going to experience the result. They're going to know you're legitimate. They're going to know you deliver on your promises. They're going to know that you're actually someone that they can trust. And so the next time you come to sell something to them, they're much more likely to do it. So it's important to make the distinction between buyers and non-buyers. So someone that lands on your website and downloads a lead magnet is free. They are non-buyers. So the strategy that you use for someone that is a non-buyer is different from someone that has just bought from you. And so this is the way that I would suggest you do things. I would suggest you have someone download your lead magnet. They would then receive a welcome email. I'll talk more about what to include in the welcome email in a short while. I've also recorded a video explaining the welcome sequence in a lot of detail, where I discuss my favorite ways to leverage your welcome email, and you should find the link to that either on the screen or in the description below. So after your welcome email, I would suggest you sell a low-priced offer. Why? Because if someone has just downloaded your lead magnet, you want to convert them into a customer as fast as possible. This may or may not be applicable to you depending on what your goals are. However, if you can make a really awesome and attractive offer that's time sensitive to incentivize action, you can encourage a decent percentage of people to actually buy. And if someone buys from you, they are more likely to buy from you in the future, and they will become a higher value subscriber on your email list. So say, for example, the way that this funnel would work is you would have your lead magnet. Someone downloads the lead magnet. They then receive your welcome email. Your welcome email would contain stuff about your brand. You would then have a link to a special one-time offer in your welcome email. You would then send maybe 1 or 2 more emails over the next day or two, linking to your special one-time offer. People have the chance to buy it. If they buy it, great. If they don't buy it, that's not a problem either. Your special one-time offer, an example off the top of my head that I saw a while back was somebody had a $97 training program available on their website. You could click on their website and you could see it. It's sold for $97. In the email, it's sold for $7. So that's what a ridiculously high discount. But you can only buy it for $7 if you buy it in the next 24 hours because it expires. And then the fact that you have a massive discount combined with time sensitivity, plus if you articulate a strong guarantee, this is going to incentivize people to actually buy it. And then when people become buyers, you can then sell them more things later. So that's basically what I'd suggest in your welcome sequence if you have a lead magnet. So what to do after the welcome sequence? If someone does not buy, you can have a segue email, and then you can start to send your regular or daily emails. If someone becomes a buyer, you might want to then remove them from you want to tag them so they no longer receive the welcome email. You want to tag them so they no longer receive the automated welcome sequence for your lead magnet, but instead they get the automated welcome sequence for your product that they just bought. So if someone does not buy from you, non-buyers, I would not suggest sending a daily email straight away because this is going to come across as being spammy. They are more likely to report you as spam, and that's going to cause issues for your email deliverability in the future. So instead, if someone has not bought from you, you can still have a daily email plan, but your buyers get daily emails. Your non-buyers, you might send them 1 or 2 emails per week. You would adjust the frequency of your daily emails in the future based on whether they've bought from you in the past. So that's with your lead magnet. Now you can improve or optimize this funnel a little bit more, and it would look something kind of like this. So people click to download your lead magnet on your website. They then get directed to a sales page. The sales page is before they go to the thank you for downloading your lead magnet page. You just add that extra page in. You put a headline, you record a video where you're talking about the offer, you articulate your gratitude for them to come to your brand in the video, you sort of explain what the offer is, you explain that you're giving them a massive discount, a 90% discount, you explain what your offer does, how it will help them get the results they want. You say you can get it now for just $7. You can then you put the buy now button, and then under the buy now, you put no, I'm not interested. A lot of people, you probably won't get that many sales from there because you have to think about it. You've got a sales page. People have got an offer in front of them, but they may or may not have their credit card next to them to buy it. They may be on the phone. They may be out and about. But what you've actually done is you've planted the seed in the mind that they've got this offer. They're aware of it. It's in their subconscious that you've told them about it. So after the sales page, you go to the thank you page. On the thank you page, you record another video. Inside this video, you can talk about your brand. You can talk about your mission, your why, your vision, your values. These are the 80-20 stuff that you should be talking about at the first contact anyway. And that's sort of a little mini funnel. Simultaneously, they have the welcome email hit their inbox. In your welcome email, you can articulate your mission, vision, values, and why. And you can also then mention about the product that they just saw on the sales page after they clicked download the lead magnet. Which sort of reminds them of it. You can then send 2 emails over the next 2 days linking to it and reminding them that this is only available for the next few hours. If you don't buy it now, you're going to miss out. Of course, you get a 90% discount, 95% discount, whatever it is, just because you've downloaded the lead magnet, just as my way of saying thank you. And then that basically incentivizes people to do it. Now, why would you want to do this? Well, the fact of the matter is that what would you prefer to do? Would you prefer to make, say, 100 sales a month at $7 and get $700 while converting non-buyers into buyers? Or Would you prefer to make 0 sales and continue to have your list as non-buyers? I know which one I'd prefer. Any bit of extra cash flow is something that I welcome, and any opportunity you can get to convert a non-buyer into buyer is a great one. So that's what I'd suggest with your lead magnet. The next is if you sell a product or service. If you sell a book or if you sell video training, I'd encourage you to do it on your website, because you can then get people onto your email list. What you want to do is you want to plan a welcome sequence for people that have bought your product, your book, your training product. It might be a low price front end offer. It might be a higher price one. They might be new to your brand. They might already be on your email list. It kind of depends. It varies. You have to start with what you actually want to achieve first. Do you want your welcome sequence designed so you can make more sales? Do you want your welcome sequence designed so you can generate book calls for your high ticket offer, your premium offer? Do you want your welcome sequence designed to get people to actually open your product and to consume the information in it and to actually get results so they're more likely to buy your other stuff? What is it that you actually want to do? If you're selling a physical product, which I don't have that much experience in, you might want to send emails talking more about your brand to build brand awareness so that you convert people into fans of your brand. But I don't have that much experience in it, so I'm not going to talk about it. I'll focus more on info, product, and service-based things instead. If you want to use your welcome sequence to generate more sales, what you would consider doing is you would have people would make the purchase, they'd receive the welcome email. Your welcome email would contain your mission, vision, values, and why. That's what I believe is an 80-20 thing. Exactly the same as with a lead magnet. And the reason is because you want people to instantly sort of connect with you and your brand. And the way they connect is on a shared vision, a shared mission, on shared values. And people who do not align with them will instantly be repelled from you. And that's sort of something that you want to do. And so that's in your welcome email. You can then also link to a time-sensitive product launch if you wanted to. You can send more emails over the coming days, sharing more about your brand, how they can get results, sort of nurturing them, showing them how to use what they've just purchased to get what they need. You can strategically use your welcome sequence to show them that, well, this is how you get results with this product. I'd encourage you to do this. And here's the next problem that people like you are going to encounter. And when you can articulate what the next problem is, you can position your next product as a solution to it. And that's sort of what you can do there. You need to consider that the length of time from someone making a purchase from you is a big determiner of if they're going to buy from you again. So say, for example, if someone buys from you today and you make them an offer in the next 3 or 4 days, they're more likely to buy from you than if you make an offer to the same person without the nurturing 6 months from now. And it makes sense, doesn't it, that when people buy from you to start off with, they're excited to consume your product, they're excited to dive in, they're excited to try it out. When they do, they actually consume the information, they like your ideas, or they don't. If they don't, they'll probably not continue with it and just leave your brand. And then if you do, you're making another offer when they're at peak excitement, which makes them more likely to want to buy. If you have it over a longer period of time, well, they're more likely to forget you. And so that's what it is. And so what you could do here, if you wanted to design your welcome sequence to make more sales, you'd have your welcome email, like I said. You'd probably have a few emails with nurture stuff, showcasing your brand, showcasing you as an authority, getting people to consume it, tapping in and leveraging the excitement that they're currently experiencing. And then you can literally automate a product launch sequence that you've already run before, or a flash sale to them, and basically applying the same principles of what I said with the lead magnet. You make an offer and you give them a big discount. The discount is time sensitive, and you combine it with a strong money back guarantee. So the next one is if someone buys your product and your goal is to book a call. What do you do with this? So the reason you don't want to book a call usually is if you have a high ticket offer, a premium offer. This might be group coaching, it might be one-on-one consulting, it might be a service you provide, like with me, with email marketing, social media marketing, or consulting. And more often than not, you need to have a chat with them on the phone first to see if you're a right fit. You can make suggestions to them, you can help them, you can sort of, you need to be able to speak to someone first in order to make a personalized proposal to them, and that's what the book calls are. The strategy for this is different, and of course, if you want to really dive into the nuances of this, the strategy behind this, in my opinion, would be different if you are taking the sales calls, discovery calls, whatever you want to call them, or if you have a dedicated sales team to take the sales call. But ultimately, the whole purpose of your welcome sequence would be to get people to book a call. Getting someone to book a call is not as difficult as getting someone to make a purchase. It's easy to do it. So you don't have to be sort of heavy-handed, you don't have to be too pushy, you don't have to be too salesy. Instead, you can have a more subtle approach. What I would suggest, you have the same welcome email using the same strategies that I described earlier, showcasing your mission, vision, values, and why, and communicating that clearly. And your next emails would be linking to content that positions you as an authority, positions you as a credible source, positions you as someone that knows what you're talking about, as the expert, as someone that can actually get them the result that they want. What I like to do is email 1, welcome email. Email 2, 3, and 4 would link to a workshop or a series of workshops. You design your workshop or your series of workshop to basically help solve the problem that your premium offer helps them solve. And then you invite people to book a call. You then send email, email 5 might be an email directly asking people to book a call. I'm looking for 5 people who want this outcome. I'm looking for 1 person who wants this outcome. Then the next email, you might want to link to a podcast, you might want to link to testimonials, you might want to link to success stories. And then the next email might be something else. And then you might want to have another email that directly books to a call. That's, off the top of my head, what I'd probably do. If you don't have a workshop, you just simply link to your best performing content. So email 1, welcome email. Email 2 might link to a podcast, your most popular podcast, your most successful podcast. Email 2 might link to something else, maybe a workshop that you've had, or some kind of content that you've created that you've got a lot of positive feedback on. Email 3 might link to a page of all your testimonials on. You kind of get the point. There's no one way to do it, but the way that you would want to approach planning your welcome sequence to book a call is you basically want to show off that you're an expert, that you're an authority, that you can help people, and you want to just prove it. And the way you prove it is by linking to content that showcases you an expert, linking to testimonials, linking to customer interviews. Another quick side note with this would be what I would suggest you do in your welcome sequence to book a call is I would suggest you get someone to interview you to extract your personal story around your business, your brand, and your service. So basically, this interview would be someone identifying with you, your why. They ask questions, they get you to articulate it in a sort of, in a natural way, sort of off the cuff, you're not really thinking about it. And what this does is it sort of gives people a window into your life, how you got to where you are. It shows you as a human. People love listening to interviews. People love listening to personal success stories. They'll be able to see their own journey in you if you resonate with them. And I think that is a powerful way to build a strong emotional connection from day one. And so you can put a link to this in your welcome sequence, and then invite people to book a call afterwards. And the way this interview is basically it's an indirect way to deliver your sales message. I would strongly encourage you to invest in getting something like that, because it really is a powerful asset. And you could link to that in your welcome email, and then under the podcast or video or whatever it is, you can get people to book a call. And then just apply the same kind of strategy that I mentioned before. You want them to book a call, provide them with proof that you are an expert and you can help them. So the next type of welcome sequence would be to maximize consumption. Why would you want to maximize consumption of your product or service? Why would you want to maximize consumption of your product or your book? So the more people consume it, the more likely they are to buy into your ideas. The more likely they buy into your ideas, the more likely they are to become fans. If they become fans, they're going to want to consume all your content in the future, your free content. They're going to want to buy all your products. If you have a membership, they're going to join your membership for more content. They're going to want to become your client and all sorts of good things. And the window of opportunity to tap into this peak excitement is pretty much immediately after they've bought, when they're excited and they've got the motivation to go through what they've just bought. If you wait too long, they're going to forget about it. So what you can do is, what I would suggest with this in mind, it would be a good sort of investment to get people to consume the stuff in the training that they've just bought. You would do this instead of sort of linking to other products or services, with the intention of building a stronger sort of fan base and building stronger relationships, so they become customers in the future. What you need to do in this sort of sequence is you want to make it as easy as possible for people to actually sign in and consume it. And so what I've done in the past is, let's say people bought a $99 video training program. The video training program itself is 3 hours plus a bunch of bonuses. Email one you'd send the welcome email. Email one is in addition to the welcome email. And what you might want to do here is you might want to sort of say, one of the biggest problems people like you have experienced in the past is X, Y, and Z. I provide what I found to be the most predictable way to overcome this challenge and to get the results that you want in video one at 11 minutes 30 seconds. Click here to go in and see what it is. Hit reply and let me know what the answer is, and I'll give you a special reward. Something as silly as that. And then the special reward might be some other resource that you have that helps people get the result or whatever it is. But it's actually, you make it so easy for someone to click the email, go to the spot in their course to consume it. If they find out what the answer is and they hit reply, they've engaged, they've invested in sort of their own learning, and they're more likely to continue to learn afterwards. And then also, if you can actually get someone to click through to your training program where they're able to consume it, then if they listen to 30 seconds to get the answer, they're also more likely to listen to 5 minutes or longer. And this is what you want to do. You want to just get them to consume it. That initial sort of going from being in your inbox to actually clicking on the course and consuming the content. And you can say, I'd probably suggest you send maybe 3 emails like this over the course of 3 days. Just getting people to click on the link, going into the course. You can talk about the benefits of it. You can share success stories of people that have applied it. And then, of course, the goal is more consumption now equals more likely they're going to consume afterwards. So that's it with the welcome sequence. You can automate all of these. You can write them once and then use them for as long as you want. I would encourage split testing them. We'll talk more about that a little bit later. So let's move on to the next type of automated sequence. And this is the follow-up sequence that you would send. So after someone clicks an ad to book a call, or after someone clicks an ad to book a call, but they don't book a call, after someone clicks an ad to book a call, or they click on your website to book a call and they show up to the call, and all these different things. So there's different types of automated sequences based on different nuanced situations. I won't go into the exact details of this because it can just get really complicated with the different things. But what you can do here is sort of behavior-based automations. So if someone clicks onto book a call and they actually schedule a call, you would want to set automated reminders out to make sure they show up to the call. If someone clicks book a call and they put in their email address but they don't schedule a call, you would want to send a email sequence optimized to get people to book a call over the next few days. You're more likely to generate book calls in the first day or two after they initially click the ad or after they initially opted in than if you wait too long. So the golden window here is in the first few days afterwards. What I can do is I can just describe a situation that I've a scenario with a client and the results that we've got with this, and then you can apply it yourself. So here it is. So what the client does is they run Google ads to book a call. They have a $5,000 offer. They have a dedicated sales team. So the automated sequence that I wrote is a follow-up sequence for people that clicked book a call, but they didn't. And what we do is in the first day is sort of, you send it on the same day that they opted in, reminded them to book a call. 24 hours later, you'd send another one, basically a hard reminder to book a call. These are the two emails that get the most book calls. I then sent a few emails out, which is nurture stuff. The nurture stuff is to position the client as an authority. I think we link to podcasts, we link to workshops, I think we link to success stories. One of the emails is a detailed, frequently asked questions about the premium offer that they have, and that tends to generate more sales. And then we have another email after that, basically that's more direct, saying I'm looking for 3 people who want this outcome. Are you interested? Hit reply and schedule a call. And then we go on to the segue email, which basically puts them onto their email list where they receive daily emails afterwards. But by daily emails, they're not receiving an email every day, whereas other people are. And that's the sequence that we've got there. In your case, I would suggest doing the same. If someone has clicked to book a call but they don't schedule, they are clearly interested in what you have to offer. They're just not ready to commit to the call. There's a whole variety of reasons of what this could be. The first ones you want to do is a strong reminder, book a call. Here's why you need to book a call. Hurry up, we don't have that many spots left. If they don't book a call after that, what you need to do is then sort of prove that you're an authority, you're credible, you're expert, you can actually help them. You need to give social proof with your testimonials. All of these would be to book a call. You can include emails with FAQs. You use your FAQs in the email to strategically sort of address objections. You can have an email basically saying what it is, what it does, how it will help them, what kind of results they'll get, book a call. And then personally, I'd like to conclude this sequence with a direct email. I'm looking for X people who want Y outcome. Is this you? We have 1 or 2 spots left. First come, first serve. Book a call or risk missing out. You can sort of sweeten the deal or incentivize them more by offering some kind of a bonus if they book a call or join now. This could be the same kind of bonus that people get whenever they join. It could be something that they already receive, but you position it as a bonus. The options are endless. With this sequence here, if you can actually get this right, you will be generating book calls on autopilot. It might be difficult to actually reach a point where you're getting a volume of book calls that you actually want, because the conversion rates for people that are unaware of your business and brand, they're cold, the conversion rates are going to be lower than if they bought from you. So basically, it just made me realize something. I've just remembered something, and that is that what you can do, you send a follow-up sequence like I described above, 2 emails in the first 48 hours directly getting people to book a call. If they don't, they get a few more emails positioning you as an authority. All of these book a call. If not, you have an email directly, I'm looking for 1 or 2 people, book a call. If they don't book a call after that, what you can do is sell your low-priced products. So if you have a book If you don't have a book, I'd strongly encourage you to write a book based on your high ticket offer, or at least create a training program based on it to give people a taste of what you have to offer. And then you can sort of sell that. Much easier for someone to make a $4.99 purchase than commit to a $5,000 coaching program. And then if they buy your book or your training program or whatever it is, the whole purpose of this is to turn a non-buyer into a buyer. You want to get them to consume it. You want to get them to experience results. And then you would get them to book a call when they would receive the buyer sequence from your book, if that makes sense. So you've got one automation here, and if they buy your book, one automation here, they don't book a call. Therefore, you've given them plenty of opportunities if they don't book a call. You then send a few more emails here, 1, 2, 3, where you're selling your book or your training program. If they buy, they then receive the welcome sequence for your book, which would also be optimized to get people to book a call, if that makes sense. And if you can do this and you can stack these automations and you test, I can guarantee that you're going to get far more book calls over the long run than if you don't. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. The webinar sequence. So a webinar is basically a presentation. You can call your presentation a webinar. I'd encourage you not to. Webinar has the connotation of salesy. You don't want any connotation of salesy, because when people know they're being sold to, they just switch off. Instead, call your webinar a workshop, a masterclass, training, whatever you want to do. You can do your workshop live. They can be recorded. In this case, since we're talking about automations, we'll assume that it's a pre-recorded workshop. What you can do in your pre-recorded workshop is you can put it on your website. Your workshop, your webinar, your masterclass. The purpose is you teach people in the first 2/3 of it. You go through the concepts of whatever it is that you're selling. You give them value. You show them how it works. You teach a framework. You show them how to get results. You share lots of testimonials. The last third of it, you're promoting and selling your offer. If you have a successful webinar that converts and generates sales, it's also going to convert and generate sales at a similar sort of conversion rate if you put it on your website and you can automate it. Here's what you do if you have a webinar like that. You put your webinar on your website. In order to attend the webinar, they have to opt in. You promote your webinar on all your marketing channels. So you have a YouTube channel. You can promote your webinar in the description under your video. On your social media, you also promote your webinar. If you have a podcast, you can promote your webinar. This drives traffic onto the page on your website where people opt in. When people opt in, they then receive the pre-written webinar sequence in order to get them to watch the webinar. Again, I'm using the word webinar interchangeably with workshop, masterclass, whatever it is. It's the same thing. What you'd need is, in this case, it works best if the webinar happens immediately. This ties back into that if someone clicks on it now, they are interested now. If you wait too long, this interest is going to go. Optimize the time when they are most enthusiastic about it. So the webinar starts in a few hours, or the webinar starts right now, whatever it is. Your emails would be basically getting people to watch it. You can then have a more sophisticated automated sequence based on the behavior. Did they watch the webinar all the way? If they did watch it all the way, they receive the FIS sequence A. Did they start the webinar but stop halfway through? If so, they receive sequence B. Did they start the webinar but didn't watch anything at all? If so, they receive sequence C. Did they click to join the webinar but they didn't watch it at all? Then they receive sequence D. And obviously the goal of each of these automated sequences afterwards would be to get people to either 1, consume the webinar and actually watch it, or 2, buy your product or service afterwards. I won't go into the details because it can get very, very complicated, but it's just the gist of it. If you want a super, super simple thing, you can put your webinar on your workshop, masterclass, whatever you want to call it, on your website. People opt in. They basically get a couple of automated emails getting them to watch the webinar. You can then, after the webinar, you can send sort of what would normally be the replay part of it. where you encourage people to go back and watch it, or if they haven't done it, and you basically make the offer, and then you'd have your open cart emails, which is basically to sell your offer at the end. And all of this can be automated it can be automated over the series of days, starting at the day when they opted into the webinar. So everybody that opts in would receive the full sequence. And when you do this, you want to make a really compelling offer in the webinar, workshop, masterclass. How do you make a compelling offer? Well, a few things that anyone can include would be, you want to give them a time-sensitive discount to incentivize them to take action. Add scarcity if possible. So if you have a high-ticket offer, you might only have spots for 1 or 2 people that you can have, and you make that clear. And if they don't book a call now, they might miss out. And you want to have a strong money-back guarantee, especially if it's with people who aren't familiar with your brand, if it's cold traffic, as a strong risk reversal. And also, if you can add in what makes you unique, that'll add to it as well. And then if you can articulate your mission, vision, values, and why in your workshop, webinar, masterclass, it's going to make people feel connected to you more, which will make them more likely to buy afterwards. So that's it with webinar sequence. I hope you can understand it, because it kind of is complicated. I mean, I've done this several times. I can just visualize how everything works in my mind, because I've done it so many times. But for me to communicate it to you, especially without having diagrams and things. So I hope you understand it. So the next one is a product launch or a flash sale. So this one here is not 100% automated, but it's one of these things where I think gives you a high amount of leverage in your business. This is something I've done with clients in the past, and it's something that I probably shouldn't teach you if the goal of my videos is to get clients for my email marketing, social media marketing company. But I want to provide you value. I want to show you that I know what I'm doing. And obviously I can't work with an unlimited number of clients. So, I just want to teach you what to do so you can apply it and get incredible results for your business. And so this is what to do. You got a product. Let's say your product is $100, couple of $100, whatever it is. And you want to do a product launch. You want to do a promotion for it. So you can do a product launch. So this might be over 5 days. Day 1 is the introduction of the offer. Day 2, you might say what the promotion is, what the offer is, what it does, how it can help you. Day 3, you might have FAQs and share testimonials and different things. Day 4 and 5 are closed down emails, which is basically, hey, 48 hours left, here's what you get, hurry up now, 36 hours left, 24 hours left, 12 hours left, kind of thing. And so this is a pretty simple email sequence, 5 to 7 emails long. You could probably get this written up pretty quickly, and you send it out to your email list, and you see how many sales you make. Your emails could link to a sales page. People will read the sales page, they click buy. Your emails could lead to a video where you basically make the offer, or you could link directly to a checkout page depending on the price and how aware people are of your offer and whatnot. But the details here on the concept is you write it once, you then see what happens. If you make some sales and you're happy with the amount of sales you make, you can then basically schedule the same product launch next quarter. So let's say you want to run the product launch promotion on the 5th of January in Q1. Schedule for the same date in Q2. So you may want to run the next one on April the 5th. And then you can run it again in Q3, so which would be on July the 5th. And then you can run it again on Q4, which is September the 5th. You run the same promotion to the same people each quarter. You write it once, you reuse it. You might not be able to reuse it 100%. You might need to make changes, tweaks. You might want to adjust the way you present things. You might want to take the feedback you had from promotion 1 and implement the feedback for promotion 2. You might want to make the promotion relevant in Q2 to what's happening in the world in Q2, what's relevant to your target audience. And if you do, you'll get a higher response. But basically, you write it once and you can reuse it. And likewise with a flash sale. Flash sales are 48 hours only. You get a 50% discount or a big discount. The bigger the discount combined with a risk reversal, the more likely they are to buy. The reason people buy in a flash sale, fire sale, whatever you want to call it, is simply because of the discount they get, and it's time sensitive. But if you can literally do a flash sale in 4 emails to generate cash flow, and you can reuse the same flash sale in future email sequences too. No, let me re-say what I meant to say. You can reuse the same flash sale exactly the same way it is in Q2 in a few months' time. People are going to forget that you sent it. If I ask you, let me give you an analogy. If I asked you, what did you eat for dinner last week on Monday? Could you answer me? Maybe, maybe not. If I asked you what you ate for dinner 3 weeks ago on Tuesday, unless you have a set schedule and you on a specific diet, you're probably not going to be able to tell me. And people pay even less attention when it comes to emails in their inbox. So the vast majority of people are going to forget that you sent it. So this is how you can write it once and then automate it afterwards. And this is something that I like to do when I'm working with clients, is that I will write the email assets now, and it takes most of the time and work now to actually create the assets. But once they've been created, and once we look at the data and we can identify which works, which doesn't work, you can just reuse the same concepts, same emails in future sequences too. And I would strongly encourage you to do that. So if you do have a product and you sell it, you can write your product launch sequence or a flash sale sequence and schedule it every quarter, and you'll make sales. And when you start to notice the conversion rates dropping, it's time. It sort of just suggests that you need to freshen things up, or that it stopped working. A condition for this to work, however, is you need to constantly be growing your email list. I experienced once with a client where they did not actively grow their email list, and people naturally unsubscribe with each email that gets sent. So the email list on a day-to-day basis is shrinking instead of getting bigger, and they wanted to continue to run the same promotion over and over again every couple of months, expecting sort of the people that did not buy 2 months ago to suddenly want to buy now, and it just doesn't work like that. So in order for this to work, you need to have a continuous stream of traffic and to be continuously growing your email list. You can also take your product launch or flash sale sequence, and you can add it onto your welcome sequence for your lead magnet, to the buyer's welcome sequence, after your email automation to get people to consume the product. And then you can basically add your product launch flash sale sequence onto the end of it. So when someone completes the welcome sequence, they can then go onto your product launch sequence, and then they go onto your email list afterwards. And they can mix and match and just sort of use it. Because again, if your product launch makes sales, if it makes sales to your email list, and let's say you make $10,000 from this product launch, and you get, say, a conversion rate of 1 or 2%, whatever it is, put it into your welcome sequence. So everyone that new comes onto your list, they go through it, and that's how you can do it. That's how you can stack these automations for even more leverage and even more results. So the next one is with promotions. So this is the least automated of all, and it's something which I have started to do when I work with clients, and that is if we have a promotion planned, I want to get all of the emails and assets done at least a week or two in advance, because when it comes to setting things up and running promotions, there's lots of moving parts, especially if the client has a big team, or if you have a big team. There's a lot of things to get clarity on what people do in this situation, and it just turns out to be a nightmare. And I've been in too many situations where I need to do things at the last minute, and I struggle to do it because of other time commitments and the fact that I've got a 1-year-old son, and it's just led to a massive amount of stress. So in this case, what I like to do now, and what I'd encourage you to do, is if you have a promotion planned for 3-4 weeks from now, get the emails done as soon as possible. You can schedule the emails to go out weeks in advance, and then that way, when it comes to all of the other moving parts in the promotion, you don't have to worry because the emails are already scheduled. And in many ways, the emails are some of the most important things because they are there to direct people to your sales page and to direct people to your products so they actually buy. So that's a way that you can semi-automate things. And again, the whole purpose is to free up your time, to allow you to create the emails and schedule them and make sure that there are no mistakes before chaos sets in and before there's too many moving parts, and it just makes the whole situation smoother and easier, and something I'd highly encourage. The final one is the abandoned cart sequence. This here is basically, so the scenario. Someone sees an ad, they click on an ad, it takes them to a sales page. People read the sales page or watch the sales video. They click the button to buy now, and they get directed to a page that asks them for the email and their phone number. You put your email in, and the phone number and your name, and it takes you to the checkout page. Personally, I don't like to ask for people's phone number because I don't like to give my own phone number out to anybody, for privacy reasons, but other people do. What I like to do is just ask for the name and the email address. It takes them to the checkout page. That's where they can input their card details and actually make the payment. The key here is you add in an opt-in. So everybody that goes to your checkout page puts their name and email address before they can buy. What this does is it will show you the people who bought the product and people who did not buy the product. Your abandoned cart sequence goes to people who did not buy the product. They gave you their email address and went to the checkout page, which means they showed some interest in it, I guess. Whether they were interested or not, they exchanged their email address and name in order to get to the checkout page. So you can assume they have some interest in it, but that is an assumption. And so you would then write the email sequence to basically get people to buy. A typical abandoned cart sequence that I've always used is, these don't need to be complicated, is you basically send an automated email out 1 hour after they abandon cart. This would mean 1 hour after they opt in, they give you your email address and they did not buy. And you say, hey, you forgot your name of your training program. Here's a link so you can buy it. And then you would send another one 12 hours afterwards saying, hey, just to remind you, it's still here. If people don't buy from those two emails, it means maybe they weren't that interested. So it means your third and fourth email would be basically to give people reasons why they should buy. And the reasons why they should buy would be tell them the benefits, tell them what it does, tell them how we can help them, social proof, share testimonials. Maybe you want to share more about your mission, vision, values, and why, which is something that I encourage you to do a lot. And again, put a link to it. Don't be too hard and too salesy, and do that in email 3 and 4. And if they don't buy after that, they're probably not going to buy. So what you can do then is send your segue email, which is sort of say, hey, here's what's going to happen next. I'll talk more about the segue email in the next section of this video. And then they would go on to your next list. So that is basically the abandoned cart. You can send this to people that click to buy your product. They give you their email list, but they give you their email address, but they don't actually buy afterwards. Again, it's important to note that if someone does buy, that they no longer receive the rest of the email sequence. So if somebody buys on the first email saying you have 1 hour, 1 hour after they abandon cart, hey, you left this in your cart. If someone buys from that email, they won't receive the future ones. They would then receive the buyer's sequence afterwards. So the abandoned cart and the follow-up sequence to book a call are pretty similar in many ways. The sort of key difference that I have, in my opinion, is the ones to book a call. So the similarities are book a call and abandon cart in these two sequences is the first two emails and sort of, hey, you clicked the book a call, why don't you book a call now? Or, hey, you showed interest in this product, you left it in your cart, buy now. And then you'd have the next emails after that to book a call and be positioning you as an authority, someone to listen to, someone credible. Whereas in the abandoned cart, it would be sort of the benefits of buying the product. And so that's it. Those are the 6 automated sequences. We talked about the welcome sequence, follow-up sequences to book a call, webinar, workshop, masterclass sequences if you want to automate it on your website, product launches and flash sales and how you can apply these each quarter. We spoke about how you can automate your promotions to basically by writing them weeks in advance and scheduling them so that it frees up your time, energy, effort and resources during the actual chaos of a promotion, and the abandoned cart. So the next section is what happens after people receive the automated sequence. So the first thing is that, as I've mentioned a few times throughout this video, is you can have one automated sequence and then someone receives a second automated sequence. The example of this would be somebody would receive your abandoned cart sequence, but they buy your product. They no longer receive the abandoned cart sequence. Instead, they receive the welcome sequence for your product. If people receive the welcome sequence for your product, you have this strategically designed based on what outcome you want. Do you want them to buy more stuff? Do you want them to book a call? Do you want them to consume the content in it? You can then, if you wanted to, automate your product launch or flash sale sequence after that. If someone buys during a product launch or flash sale, they will no longer receive the promotional material and instead receive the buyer sequence for that particular product. That's how you can stack these automations and basically how you can, magnify the amount of book calls or sales that you get. At the end of the automated sequence, you want to have a segue email. I don't know what this is actually, what other people call it, but I like to call it a segue email. Basically, a segue email is it segues from the automated sequence onto your regular email schedule. Your regular email schedule, I would suggest you send daily emails. You might send a weekly email. You probably want to send a different frequency of emails based on whether someone's bought from you in the past or whether they haven't bought from you in the past. Whether they're fans and they want lots of your content or whether they don't want much of your content. You can vary the frequency. Same emails. Some people get more, some people get less. But what you need to do is you need to send an email to sort of set expectations. Your segue email would basically say, hey, just to let you know what's happening next, we're going to be sending emails on a daily basis. I'm going to be sharing you things like this, that, and the other. We'll be sharing these concepts, those concepts. This is what you'll get out of it. If you no longer want to receive any of the emails, you have the option to unsubscribe at the button below. And then after this, they basically then go on to your other email list where they receive whatever emails, your daily emails, your weekly emails, whatever it is afterwards. It's important to do this. It's important to set expectations. It's important to encourage people who are not interested to unsubscribe, because you don't want to overwhelm them. You don't want to come across as being spammy. If people report you as spam, it negatively affects your email deliverability in the future. So that's it. And let's just conclude this video with how you can get the maximum leverage out of this. If you watch any of my videos or know anything about what I do, I like to find ways to do things in the most productive, efficient, and leveraged way possible. So here are 3 things that you can do to basically leverage and optimize your automations for even more book calls, sales, or whatever outcome it is that you want. The first is split test. You want to test because the first thing you put out is a guess. If you test it against something, you have something to compare it to. If you have something to compare it to, you can identify what performs better and what doesn't. The more you test, the more data you have, the more you can optimize. Simple as that. Getting the results to your test, though, depends on the traffic. You need to have, I think I remembered someone saying that a test isn't complete until you've had 200 units, until 200 units are sold. Take that for what it is. You don't want to do a test that's too small because it's not necessarily representative, or you might be getting inaccurate results due to just flukes. But also, you don't want to spend too much time split testing because you'll never actually have a chance to test. And what you want to do is you want to identify which emails perform best, aligned with your goal, which emails generate the most sales, which emails generate the most book calls, and then you want to put them at the start of your sequence. The closer they are to the start of a sequence, the higher the open rates and the higher the consumption. You want to identify what emails perform best, and you want to put them at a time where people are most likely to consume them. That's the first. The second is, if you're doing daily emails, which I strongly suggest you do, because daily emails give you a lot of data, you can identify which of your daily emails perform best. Performance would be based on the amount of sales they make, the amount of book calls they have. You can then identify your best performing daily emails and put them into your welcome sequence. Basically, this would replace any emails to build your authority, credibility and whatnot, or in addition to those. The concept here is you want to find what assets perform the best in your business and put them in a place where the most people are going to see them, and that's where you can get the most leverage result. Number 3 is another concept that you can apply in your automations, email and other forms of marketing in your business, and that is your best performing ads will often work as an email with just tweaking the format of the ad so it fits the format of an email. Your best performing ads can be tweaked so they fit the context of social media. If you run an ad and it gives you a certain conversion rate and it's the best one that you get, you can basically copy and paste that onto your social media and you'll get a similar result. Probably you will get some kind of result. It's proven itself to work. You can then take the concept and put it in an email. Your best emails can become ads and social media posts, and basically you can use one email that performs really, really well, and you can turn that into an ad or a social media post, all with the same call to action. How does this fit into the context of automation? Identify which assets perform best in your business, which are your best performing ads, your best performing emails, your best performing social media posts that align with the goal that you want to do, and then basically convert the ideas and the structure and the concept in these posts into something that you can automate. So you might want to take all of this and use this as a foundation for one of the emails inside your sequences. So that's it. This has gone on a bit longer than I wanted it to. So as always, if you'd like help implementing any of these sequences that we've discussed, or if you'd like to implement a daily email strategy so you can identify which assets perform best in your business and which emails to then put into your automated sequences so you can basically have sales and book calls on autopilot, then I'm more than happy to help. If you go below, you'll find a link to a workshop where I'm basically teaching you how to apply daily emails and social media marketing in the most leverage way possible. And if at the end of this, I invite a handful of people for a free evaluation. In the free evaluation, I will basically give you my opinion on what would work for you in your business, in your unique situation. If you like what I do, we can explore ways of working together. If you don't like my ideas, then hopefully you would have gained a lot of value from the workshop and the evaluation anyway. And, we can part as friends, and I can probably make some referrals for someone that can actually help you. That's all for today. See you in the next video.